Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing the top 10 most anticipated comics for the month, the books I am most excited to come out. Now, number 10 for me is The Fox and Hare, issue 1, and this is from Vault Comics. And, I've been kind of looking for a Vault comic to get into. I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, so it's been harder for me to kind of get into the company, but I know there's wonderful books out there, and I like that this kind of had more of a superhero angle, kind of looked more anime-ish with the style of the artwork as well, so that is why that is number 10. Moving on to number 9, and this is I Hate This Place, issue 1, and this has to do with a queer couple moving into a house, kind of getting ready for the next steps of their relationship, and there's just everything in this house that they have to tackle: aliens, ghosts, you name it, it's in this house. And I thought that was just a fun concept. I love horror, I love queer stories, so that is why it's number 9. Moving on to number 8, and that is Barnstormers, issue 1. This is a new Scott Snyder book. I believe it's already been out on Comixology, but I do like getting these more digital first books physically, so I'm glad it's being released here. And this has to do with a romance. So, I love the idea of Scott Snyder tackling romance. We've seen it a bit in his other books, most notably American Vampire was very much a love story, so I wanted to see if there was elements from that book. And this is supposedly a very like Bonnie and Clyde style book as well, so I just thought that was an interesting concept. So moving on to number 7, which is Hulk vs. Thor, Banner of War Alpha, issue 1. Now, Hulk is a book that I've been a little bit on the fence with. I haven't totally been able to get into it, but I do love Donny Cates as a writer, and I do love Thor. I've been really, really enjoying what he's been doing with Thor, so I was curious to see how these are going to mesh, why they're going to mesh, and if this is going to make me enjoy Hulk more. Because interestingly enough, I didn't love the first arc of Thor, Donny Cates' run. I actually dropped the book, and then I think Jane Foster showed up or whatever, and I'm like, let me pick this up. And then I fell in love. It's one of my favorite Marvel books out there right now. So, I'm hoping that does the same thing for me with the Hulk series after its more energized first arc. Moving on to number 6, which is Reign, issue 5. And this is a book I've just been super enjoying. I love horror, and I like this kind of Walking Dead feel that you get with this book, and I feel like it really puts a more personal angle on the post-apocalyptic storyline, very different angle on the post-apocalyptic storyline, as well as nails fall from the sky. And I want to see, after issue 4, they kind of wrapped up a lot of things with the journey of what our main character was going through and who she needed to find. So I'm curious to see what this final chapter is going to bring, and if it opens up doors for more chapters of Reign. Moving on to number 5, which is Savage Avengers, issue 1. This is just a cool team of people. I'm especially impressed with Elektra. I do like seeing Elektra on a team. And, I'm friends with David Pepose, who writes the book. And I've worked with him over the years. And I'm so happy to see that he's going to be doing a book over at Marvel. And just excited to see what he's going to do. We've seen a lot of his indie stuff. So what is it going to be like to see his style for work for hire and playing in the Big Two's toy box. So that's why it's at number 5 for me. Moving on to number 4, which is Secret Invasion, issue 1. I don't love Secret Invasion, the original event, but I do think it brought a lot of interesting elements to the Marvel Universe, brought a lot of interesting twists and turns that affected characters for a very long time. And I am very curious to see if this is just because the TV show is coming out, or they have an actual new Secret Invasion story to tell. And, we've seen inklings of Secret Invasion over the years. We got to see that, I don't even remember what it was called, but there was this scroll book that came out a few years ago, which was pretty solid. So I'm just curious to see what the scrolls mean to the Marvel Universe right now, and how that's going to affect the comics more than just the idea of selling the TV show. All right, moving on to number 3, which is Avengers issue 56. I normally do not get Avengers, but I love Jason Aaron's run on Jane Foster and just her character. So having Jason Aaron write Jane Foster again and really tackle her identity as Thor and then also Valkyrie is a win for me. So I'm going to go check it out. It looks very one-shotty too, so hopefully it'll be pretty easy to jump into. Moving on to number 2, which is crossover issue 13. I believe they are promoting this as the last issue of crossover, or maybe the penultimate, or the ending coming soon of crossover. So yeah, if it is the complete ending, I really like these last few issues. I feel like it's been building up to this epic finale, and the meta aspect of this book has been so strong, and that's always when the book is at its strongest, in my opinion, is when Donny Cates is just kind of talking about what it's like to write comics, and really open the curtain, and again just go very meta about what it's also just like to write, and I really enjoy that, and it's just such a very different book, and I hope it sticks the landing. So moving on to number 1 for me, which is Earth Prime, Legends of Tomorrow issue 3. I'm not really caught up on a lot of the CW shows, but I do love Legends of Tomorrow. It feels not even like your average superhero story. It's honestly kind of diverted from DC Comics in a lot of ways. There's not a lot of characters. There are DC Comics characters. There's just a lot of original characters. And what I like, it's more of a humorous show. It's funny, and with the funny, they still have a lot of emotional beats here, and yeah, it definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and this is going to bring a lot of the older characters that we know and love from the previous seasons, and do only what you could do in comics. Actors obviously have schedules that conflict, or you might not be able to use all the CGI you want to use, so use the magic of imagination and art and comics to make this adventure come real, and see characters like Hawkgirl and Hawkman come back, or Ray Palmer, or Mick, so Heatwave. So I was definitely just interested in the concept, and as a big Legends of Tomorrow fan, this was my number 1 pick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Let me know in the comments below, what are the books you're most excited for next month, or this coming month, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.